have any recommendations for people that are diving solo? Like, people do it. I did it.
Like there's obviously the biggest consensus in the diving community is never dive alone. Obviously, anyone starting out, just go to a diving course, a free diving course, learn the basics, like not just breathing up to go down and increasing your breath hold, but coming up to the surface and doing recovery breaths, purging some of that CO2 and stuff, and just learning about surface times. So you don't build all that nitrogen up in your blood and all that stuff. So definitely just doing a course is like a huge investment. Like what's it going to cost you? A couple of $100 for your life. And then, I don't know, man, like I guess the majority of my diving's in New Zealand where it's not deep. So there's less stuff building up in your blood, less dangers. It's always there, but geez, I don't know, man. It's a tough one to give advice on this thing, but I just never even remotely push it. The only times I've come close to even like feeling dizzy has been in the Solomons, in the tropics, when I've been hunting, 20 plus meters, 22 plus, pushing it on these doggies and fish. But I've always had buddy divers when I'm doing those deeper stuff. I wouldn't muck around doing, 25, 30 meters without buddy divers, not a chance. Shallower stuff, I believe, if you're not pushing it and stuff.
I call it snorkeling.
I mean, fuck, I tell everyone I'm more worried about driving to the dive spot, the risks of fucking just getting bowled off the road by a crazy driver. And there's so many risks in life. If you don't feel comfortable, then just don't do it. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. But
it is a touchy
subject. I think it's
fine,
and that's my opinion. Up to you.
I think it's a good thing to actually talk about because it's a reality. And the reason why I say it's a reality, like I have a friend that just had a baby, and he's starting to move in this part of his life where you don't have time, like where he's surfing way more than he's fishing, spearfishing. And I went to the same part of my life because you can go surf in an hour where we live, come back. You're really hard pressed to go surf. You're talking about wetsuits and all this stuff like that, to go dive and spearfish in an hour and get anything. So as far as linking up, when you have 2 to 3 hours and like planning something and finding someone that's on the same availability, it doesn't really exist. It's very, very hard. You probably would never dive often at all. You'd probably dive once or, it's just hard to do.
Yeah.
So there was a time I noticed he and I were talking about it. I go, yeah, there was a time when I barely dove. And if I did, I would dive solo all the time.
Yeah.
There's nobody available.
Oh, and I say this again, and most people would agree. Like, I don't know what percentage, but I'm just going to throw a number. Like, I would say literally 95% of divers who go out and say, I'm diving with buddies and stuff, boom, straight away, they're diving in opposite directions. They might be only 10, 20 meters apart, but that's not close enough. If you're an actual buddy diver, you need to have eyes on that diver the whole time and
right.
Wait until they come to the surface. And most guys go even further. They say, we're buddy diving. They wait to their mates kind of a few meters before the surface coming up, and they dive straight away to maximize, having a guy down at the bottom. You should be waiting 5-10 seconds up on the surface, watching them breathe and making sure they don't black out 5 seconds after they come up, which is a prime time for blacking out as well. Like, most people, they're full of shit. They say they're buddy divers, but they're not really buddy diving, mate. So, yeah, the majority of people are actually diving solo, and essentially they are. But they've just got a placebo effect that they're around people they think they're safe. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. So, yeah, either do it properly or just accept it and don't preach it. There's a lot of people out there preaching don't dive alone and stuff, but I bet you half of them are essentially diving alone most of the time. So, yeah.